What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the next installment in the World Cup preview series. Today, it is all about Poland, ninth World Cup appearance. Last one came in 2018. Before that, the last time Poland was at a World Cup was 2006. So two in a row, but it had been a little while previous to that 2018 appearance. Best finish for Poland, third place twice, 1974 and 1982. To get to Qatar, Poland finished second in a group with Albania, Andorra, England, Hungary, and San Marino. So very much expected to finish second. Did just that, which sent them to the World Cup playoff, where they were supposed to play Russia in their semifinal. This was as the war in Ukraine was happening. Russia was then removed from the competition as a result of that. And because of that, Poland got to advance automatically to the final, where they beat Sweden 2-0 to clinch their spot in Qatar. Key players. I go in alphabetical order with these, but it just so happens, the way this is laid out for Poland, we start with the guy you have to talk about, and that is Robert Lewandowski. He is the leading goal scorer in the history of the Polish men's national team by a whopping 31 goals. It's not close. He's second in Bundesliga history with 312 from his time with both Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich before he moved to Barcelona this summer. He is the best player in the world at doing the thing that is the most difficult to do in this sport, which is put the ball in the back of the net. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into being a striker. You can have a conversation about whether he's actually the best striker in the world, the best player in the world. But the reality is that nobody scores goals quite at the rate Robert Lewandowski has over the past decade or so. It is a crime. He does not have a Ballon d'Or. He absolutely deserved one. And you can go down all of the statistics about the incredible things he's done and the ridiculous rate he puts the ball in the net. You know, he's got Champions League hat tricks with 3 different teams. You can go on and on and on. He is sensational. He has not missed a beat. He's been spectacular for Barcelona so far. I'm going to save a little bit more on him for the end, but this team goes as Robert Lewandowski goes. He is easily the most important player, the biggest name, the man. When you think Poland, think Robert Lewandowski first and foremost. Other 2 guys I want to mention. Second one, goalkeeper Wojciech Szczesny. He's got 4 major tournaments already under his belt. Only 2 of them he was the primary starter at. That was the 2018 World Cup and Euro 2020, which is played in the summer of 2021, of course. Before that, he was a backup, but did get some playing time in those other 2 tournaments. 2 FA Cup wins in his time with Arsenal. 3 Serie A titles when he moved to Juventus. He has all kinds of big-time experience. Premier League, Serie A, Champions League, you name it, at the club level. He's kind of done it all. Of course, doesn't have a Champions League title to his name or something like that. But he is used to playing against the very best players in the world. He is used to playing at high-profile clubs. Most of the time, he's been a starter. It's not like he's a career backup or anything like that. He's sort of gone back and forth and had to earn the starting job with Poland. But over the past few years, that has really become his position. He's played most of the games from qualifying to last summer's Euros to the 2018 World Cup, like I mentioned. And on a team that doesn't have a lot of guys with this kind of international and high-level club experience, I wanted to highlight him because I do think that he sort of flies under the radar when we talk about the better goalies in the world. He is not necessarily in that upper echelon in terms of the very, very best. But your list gets short pretty quickly, and his resume is awfully impressive. So that is definitely a name to know. And the second guy I want to highlight is Peter Zielinski. Peter Zielinski has started every game at those last 2 major tournaments. And to me, he is without a doubt the second most valuable player on this team behind Lewandowski. From a sort of roster construction standpoint, one of the things this team does not have a lot of is creativity from central midfield. I'm not talking about the wingers and guys out wide. I'm talking about middle of the park. Zelensky is that guy. He is sort of the creative engine that drives this team. Lewandowski is a finisher. Lewandowski is not a sort of Lionel Messi type player who's going to really run the offense. He's going to come deep, pick up the ball, spray it out wide. That Lewandowski is a pure out and out goal scorer. So you need somebody who is going to break lines, who's going to be able to provide a secondary scoring threat, who's going to be able to pick up those assists and really run the show in midfield. And that is what Peter Zelensky does. He's had an outstanding career with Napoli. Again, all kinds of European experience, both in the Europa League and the Champions League. Spent years in Serie A with Napoli and with some other teams before that. I really, really like him. I think he's another guy who flies under the radar. And he is going to be vital to this team at the World Cup. He needs, even if it doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, he needs to be the guy that links the defense to the attack, that gets the ball to Lewandowski and sort of makes this whole thing run. So I definitely wanted to bring him up in this conversation as well. Breakout star, I'm going with Kamil Jóźwiak. It's a little bit strange because he has, at the age of 24, established himself as a trusted member of this national team. From Euro 2020 and through qualifying, he's getting plenty of minutes. He's producing a couple goals, couple assists during qualifying. As his club career hasn't really taken off yet. He was pretty good playing in Poland. He then left to go to Derby County. That didn't exactly go great. Now, part of that was also the circumstances surrounding that club that he had absolutely nothing to do with and no control over. So he moves from Derby to Charlotte FC as Charlotte begins as an expansion franchise in Major League Soccer. Has played plenty of minutes, regularly starting for them this season as a designated player. Still hasn't put up the numbers, which from a club standpoint is where I'm looking at this potentially as kind of the moment it all clicks. Because I expect him to have a large role for Poland. Maybe it's not starting every single game, but I fully expect he's going to get plenty of minutes in this tournament. If he can have a good World Cup, I'm looking at him as a potential breakout candidate in Major League Soccer next season. Now that Charlotte's settled, now that he's settled in Charlotte, first year is always difficult for expansion franchises, often difficult for first-year players in any new league, but specifically MLS with all of the intricacies and bizarre things that happen in that league. So now he's all settled. I would not be surprised one bit if you see some good moments from Jóźwiak in the World Cup and all of a sudden he's helping propel Charlotte into the playoff conversation next season. The talent is there. Again, he's still only 24, plenty of time to continue to grow. Now it seems like he's got somewhere he's kind of settling into, but it hasn't all clicked for him, club, country, sort of coming together yet. So I'm going with him as the potential breakout star because the one thing it is clicking for him is with this Polish national team. The bottom line with Poland is, first I want to point out, you can go down the list of, and however you want to rank the best players in the world, right? You got Mbappe up there, Neymar. If you want to continue to put Messi there, I have no issue with that. Haaland, De Bruyne. You can go down the list. Harry Kane. That's probably, maybe Karim Benzema, potentially Vinicius. All of those guys who are going to be at the World Cup. Of course, we're missing Haaland. But the rest of those guys are playing at teams that are either right there at the top of the favorites, when you're talking about Brazil, England, France, or in the case of a Kevin De Bruyne, sort of that second tier of favorites. But none of those countries that those guys play for, you're going to be coming into this World Cup saying, I would be shocked if that team wins the tournament. Poland is the only country headed to Qatar that has somebody who is a top 5 player, and I feel comfortable saying that. Again, you can debate the rankings. Robert Lewandowski is a top 5 player in the world. has a top 5 player in the world and is not among the favorites and sort of the teams you expect to go really deep. It puts them in an interesting position, and it gives them something that other teams in their position who are just trying to get to the knockout stage don't have. And the second part of this comes into the big question, which is, can he get the help he needs? If you look back at these past couple tournaments where sort of this iteration of Poland has participated, you're getting goals from midfielders who don't score a lot of them. Got a goal from a center back in there, and Lewandowski. What you don't have is goals from other attacking players. And to me, this is what is going to determine how this World Cup goes for Poland. Adam Buzka, Karol Swiderski, also a former and current MLS guy. Swiderski is teammates with Kamil Jóźwiak in Charlotte right now. 5 goals apiece during World Cup qualifying. And you also have Arkadiusz Milik, who missed Euro 2020, which again played in 2021. So we'll see what kind of combination these 3 guys form and how they fit into the picture with Lewandowski. But you have these 3 guys, in Buzka, Swiderski, and Milik, who are proven scorers, or recently have been, in the case of Buzka and Swiderski, have been productive goal scorers for this team. What we have seen is that Lewandowski, as brilliant as he is by himself, is not enough to get this team out of a group. He simply isn't. They have come up short the last 2 times they've tried here. But these are 3 guys that I look at and can see goals coming from. Maybe it's not even starting the game, but it's coming off the bench when Poland needs a goal to get an equalizer or something like that. Buzka gives you a massive aerial threat. He is a huge human being. Milik is a veteran of the top European leagues in the world. These guys have talent. So it's not that the cupboard is bare when it comes to other attacking options. It's just the attacking options have not produced these last couple major tournaments this team has been in. Lewandowski is going to be the primary goal scorer. But can you get a goal and a couple assists from Swiderski, couple goals from Milik, couple goals from Buzka, whatever it might be, however this roster ends up turning out and who gets what kind of playing time? Somebody is going to have to put up some stats from an attacking standpoint that is not named Robert Lewandowski. If that doesn't happen, they're not getting out of this group. If it does happen, I am giving them a slight edge over Mexico on paper. If you're going to ask me which 2 teams get out of this group, I'm going to tell you right now, Poland is one of them. But this is a Mexico team that no matter what is happening, and you can go to my Mexico preview to see more of this and learn exactly why I'm saying it, but it's a Mexico team that no matter what happens, they find a way to get to the round of 16. They always get through the group. So you do have that going against you if you're Poland. But if Lewandowski is there, I think this group has enough. I would be picking them to get out with the current situation. Of course, things could change between now and the beginning of the tournament, but barring something unforeseen, to me, I look at this on paper and say Poland should get to the knockout stage. But that is all dependent on how much help these attacking players provide Lewandowski. The other thing I want to mention before I get out of here is this is another team, unfortunately, like Mexico, who has lost a significant player to injury that does not appear to be able to recover in time for this tournament. Joachim Moder tore his ACL right after he came back from international duty with Brighton. He had 8 starts during qualifying. He was one of the most used players on this Polish national team. And so he's working to come back from this torn ACL, and it does not appear he's going to be healthy enough in time to participate in this tournament. Again, for a team that lacks some dynamicism in midfield, losing Moder is a big deal. So I wanted to recognize that as well, that They are already down a player. More injuries are going to happen, unfortunately, as we get closer to this tournament. But that is one to know for Poland. Ultimately, like I said, they are the one team, not among the favorites, who has a true difference maker, and not just a difference maker, but a world class, top five, arguably the best player in the world talent. So we'll see how this ultimately all plays out. But they are a very interesting team because Lewandowski is the best in the world at kind of making something out of nothing and just finding ways to put the ball in the net. He gives you a chance against any team on any given day simply because he is there. And he's got enough talent around him that, the rest of this team is going to be able to contribute a little bit. So they are potentially a dark horse. If this thing starts sort of building momentum and they get rolling in terms of the way they're playing, a deep run is not out of the question simply because they have Robert Lewandowski and no other team in the world does. But as we've seen in past tournaments, Robert Lewandowski by himself has not been enough to even get out of a group stage. And you have 3 teams in this group who expect to get out of the group stage. So we will see how this all plays out, but that is the preview for Poland. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right there on YouTube. You can also read the written preview I put together for Poland at Substack, touchlinetalk.substack.com, as well as on Medium. It will be coming there in the coming weeks. You'll find other content I've got there as well, so you can follow me on Medium. And we've got everything on Substack. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, like I said, and we'll see you next time.